Good day, and welcome to the Budding Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Randy Bridges. In each episode, I cover my experiences, both good and bad, of being a business builder, as well as my journey through the crazy world of entrepreneurship to reach my goal of earning $10 million a year. All right, fellow travelers, we are on episode 124 of the podcast. This is week number 5 of the month of November. It is November the 30th, 2023, and I wanted to welcome you almost into December. We're going to make a little change next month. We're going to talk about that in a bit, and I just wanted to kind of give you a little heads up here. Things are going to change just a tad bit, and that's because, as I've talked to some people, we've received some good feedback. So it's always good to keep things flexible when you're working on something for somebody else. After all, this is for you. It's always good for me too, but at the same time, it's good to be able to pass on new information to people and give them something to think about. The business journey can be long. It can be very boring and can be very challenging and lonely at the same time. All these things happen, and you have to keep yourself going. It's good to know that somebody else out there is going through the same kind of things that you are. So let's dig right into this episode. We are working through our book section. I'm almost done with $100 million offers, which is, it's such a great book. So many different things, and I'll tell you a little bit about that later on. There's some surprises of what's happened here, but it's nice to get a chance to really absorb the material and dig it right in, hold it close to your chest, and see how it affects things. I did finish Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. This is my second pass through, so it's kind of a review for me. Whereas with $100 million offers from Alex Hormozi, it is all kind of new. I've seen him in some of his videos, and so what he's doing inside the book is not a far stretch from that, which is good, because then the books and the video reinforce each other. We did finish up Myron Golden's B.O.S. moves earlier this month, so that was great, and I really had a good time with it. It's good reading material, gives you a good reference for how you can restructure your thinking, restructure your understanding of money, and restructure your understanding of value. We've continued measuring our core marketing KPIs. These are all very important because they tell us a lot of where we are. And like Jim Rohn says, the numbers don't lie. And it's very important that we keep our numbers in our head and keep things organized, and a simple spreadsheet can make all the difference between whether you're on track, off track, or just have no track of where you are. Cold to warm conversion, we've pretty much gone and done a good job with that. I'm beginning my next process through for email, doing cold outreach, and we'll be talking about that a little bit later on. The Traveler's Gift. I have continued to put this into my life, many of these different lessons. Once again, I recommend that if you have the chance, read the book. It's, again, not a difficult thing to read. So this is something that you should probably put on your list of important books that make all the difference. This week and last week, things are changing moving forward, and they've been wrapping up moving backward. I have done an email to CRM break. All of my email was going into my CRM, and I found that it was a bit difficult to keep track of all my time being used going into the portal and out of the portal when I actually just had an email system that was running separate. So I broke that out, and now my email goes out of my CRM, but it also goes out of my regular email too. So I've got 2 different ways to send things to people. Speaking of which, I went ahead and started doing my lead scraper, which is a great utility for you, by the way. It's a few $100s a year to be able to do the full business package and have it do all of the 7 databases of information for checking everything. Thus far this week, I've already done a scrape on Utah, Nevada, Montana, and Idaho. And there's a good number of people that have come into that, and everything I'm starting all over again on my teaser emails and then my different problems that the law firms are handling. I also decided in looking at Alex Hormozi is the thing about the lead magnet, I needed to actually create more than one. So I actually created two. And I sent the first one over to my designer to have it cleaned up, looked at, made look really pretty, get all the pictures in it. And she's going to be working on that. I should have that back probably by Monday, Tuesday, maybe a little bit sooner than that, which will be awesome. The last couple of weeks, we've been dealing with Eric Partaker's version of KPIs for CEOs, the Ultimate Success Sheet. We went through personal KPIs a couple of weeks ago, leadership KPIs last week, and now I want to close out the month with business KPIs. There's a total of 20 of them. It's a lot, right? And I wanted to kind of mention a few of them that you might not have heard about, but a lot of them have good measurements to keep track of. Like, for example, accounts receivable turnover, AR turnover. If you don't understand how your accounts are sending you money, you're going to have a problem being able to manage and project how much money you're going to have. So I looked at that one. Obviously, employee productivity is a great KPI to look at. Overhead rate. How much overhead are you allocating into your business? This one is a good one. Churn rate. How often do you lose customers, clients, and how long does it take for you to recover them? It's a two-part thing. Not just lose it, you got to get it back, right? So these are inventory turnover, operating margins. There are 4 key KPIs that I think make the difference for any kind of a business, especially the business owner. Net profit margins. What's the margin on your profit? If it's too tight, you might be creating a situation where you're not bringing enough money to stay in the company. Remember, you've got a tax account, you've got an expense account, or what some of us would call an operating account. You have a profit account. Since most of the people that are running a company do not actually contribute to the success of the company, it's really good to know when you're looking at your net profit, how you're going to pay for these people. And that's one of the key ones. I could go through the whole list. Lifetime value of a client or a customer is so important. I went through and talked on Alignable the other day about that. Is the lifetime value, not just when you bring a customer in for this time in the door. Will they come back the next time? Or was the experience so garbage that they won't come back ever again? Ask me about Taco Bell sometime. When they got rid of all of their menu boards, and I basically have to walk up and touch everything into, the touchpad and everything, and there's nobody to actually answer my questions or even acknowledge me, yeah, we'll pass on that. So I'll go through some more of these. Customer acquisition cost is a common one. And then net promoter score. This is the willingness of customers to recommend your business to somebody else. That's a major, major part of how well you're doing when you're talking with people and you're working with people is, will they refer you to others? If not, you have a problem, because it all comes down to being able to get that next customer or client in the door. So to kind of go through the whole list here real quick, there's revenue growth rate. We talked about net profit margin. There is gross margin. Everybody kind of understands that one. Operating margin. After you've removed all of the operating expenses, what do you have left over? We talked about inventory turnover before. Accounts receivable turnover. Return on assets. That's the efficiency of generating profit from your assets. So if you can get rid of something that is semi-liquid, it becomes a much easier process for you. Okay? Return on equity. This is also involved in what you own and the assets that you have. Debit to equity ratio, also called debt to equity ratio. And this is something dealing with more of the assets that you're dealing with. Working capital ratio, overhead rate, employee productivity, we talked about. Customer retention rate. There's a good one not to forget about. Churn rate, we talked there. That's where we're losing customers and, having them stop purchase and the time it takes to get them back into that. We discussed lifetime value and customer acquisition cost. Lifetime value to customer acquisition cost ratio. There's a good one. Cash conversion cycle. Earnings before interest and taxes, EBIT, also discussed in certain circles when you're dealing with amortization as EBITDA. And the last one is the net promoter score. So these are great 20 measures to really kind of look at your business in a different way at the actual business level. Now, we talked a little bit about as we go into December, and I want to change the format a little bit. I like the format we have, the books and the monthly items, but they tend to stay static over the course of the month. And so what I want to go to is a slightly different one where we start discussing business strategies, okay? And as we're doing our books and our learning, what ideas and quotes can we bring to the table? What things can we bring that we can share to other people so that they might be able to save some time? Some of these books that I read are fairly thick. Some of them are very simple. And trying to get the nuggets out of them can be very difficult. So we're going to bring that in. We're still going to have our books. We're still going to have our month, but we're going to do these from a business strategy point of view and a books and learning, point of view. So we're going to go ahead and keep this relatively short since it's the end of the month. We're going into December. This is the last month of the quarter, folks. This is where you can often make or break your business. If you're not careful, the holidays can really kill you between having to pay for vacation, for having to pay for time off, for having to pay a lot of these pieces. It can really soak any money that you have left in your profit account. So going back, we completed Expert Secrets this month. We completed Boss Moves by Myron Golden this month. We're still working through $100 million offers, but I got to tell you, I'm gaining a lot of good knowledge out of that. And that's why I want to bring the books and learning ideas and quotes into a new format. For this month, we did our marketing KPIs, the core ones. We kept continuing with those. We did our cold to warm conversion and completed that. Completed the traveler's gift and getting that into our life. And then on the weekly information, I broke out my CRM so I can actually deal with my email separately. We've been incorporating new target markets from different states. I'm now focusing more to the West. And then I did create 2 lead magnets that I wrote out. And now the first one is in process for creating the graphics and everything to make it look really cool. We did cover the 20 measures of KPIs, and we also covered the new format. So that's it for the month of November. We're going to wrap this up, come back next week with a really good show. I hope you like the new format. I expect it to be much easier to deal with. The way the whiteboard and everything is working, just basically only half of it was actually changing. So I want it to be more dynamic. I want to provide it with more information for you so that you can actually, if you are a person who learns by hearing, or you're a person who learns by looking at like the whiteboard, these are going to be very valuable for you, I believe. And this format, I think, is going to make a big difference. So for the budding entrepreneur, this is Randy Bridges signing off, wishing you the best in your health, your wealth, your family, your business, everything about you. Take care and have a great week.